Alright, here we go. This is a ranked 1v1 on Storm between the Carbon player on the left side. It is ProProProPro in the Void Neo, and his opponent, the green player on the right side, is Maor247 in the Pumpkin Saucer, immediately abducting. It pretty much been a standard ever since the active abduct boost ability has been introduced. And Maor with a little bit of harass, so Pro forced the pullback, did not even get the that neutral armadillo, and Maor stealing the experience actually will probably easily get back to, okay, there you go, landing Q healing, but Pro not killing. Oh man, he had an opportunity right there. I guess he didn't realize that he was right there, and oh my god, so close to death. And Maor still trying to delay that, but kind of a poor choice there because it's right next to the Bruce and does get himself killed. So I guess I would say that he is slightly behind now, even though Pro has not been able to take his bottom left post yet, because a death is pretty major in early game. Even the credits that it costs, I think, is probably significant enough to say that Pro is the one ahead at this point. Maor, okay, well, as the abducting like crazy guy, Maor might actually be still ahead. Never mind. I completely just ignored that for some reason. But both players working on their corner posts right now. Maor with the T-45 that he abducted, so already at mid. Okay, I think I'd put Maor ahead. 13-9. Pro slightly behind, but does have 4 Blade Guardians, so that will play in his favor if it. Well, in cases like this, there you go. Killed creeps will delay Maor's middle outpost grab. And Pro with Longhorn and Flacker, pretty standard combination. No healing units down yet because, yeah, you can afford to just save them, and Maor gonna be able to get away here. But the neutral goalie already starting to be damaged by Maor's Longhorn. Pro grabbing his middle already, and Maor with continuing the harass. But not really going to get anywhere at this point. Let's see. Only, okay, 1 Flacker down here and 2 Flackers up here for ProProProPro. Maor finally putting his second Longhorn down there to attack the goalie. But Pro is right there with him. So, yeah, pretty even game at this point. 15-19. T99 going down for Maor. Okay, strong, high range. Will be able to do a lot of damage without having to be babysat. Not easy to snipe, obviously, and does provide AA just in case the mech comes over to harass. So I think I actually really like that choice by Maor247. Blinking to scout around. If you don't know what you're doing, which Maor definitely does, but if you don't know what you're doing or what you're looking at, I understand why new players don't really scout, because they don't really know how to assess the field. But that quick flyby by Maor might have looked kind of random, but he was gathering information, seeing where ProProProPro allocated his units. He was checking out what he had on the field specifically, where he decided to defend, and what his unit compositions were, and was looking for openings. He might have been able to harass something, and does go and socket that T99 that he just abducted so fast to be able to do that, and actually using the T45 to, okay, harass that post, but Pro's probably going to catch that. No, he does not realize that it's out on the field. Okay, the Tesla Tower taking advantage of elevation difference right there, so nothing can really attack that, or nothing even really sitting there could really attack up the cliff, because, you know, as a 3D game, would have not been able to even have line of sight, but Tesla Towers for some reason do. And Maor with a couple of brutes. Okay, that will be kind of devastating. Maor will be able to get this under his control, and Pro losing his corner post to that hidden. He dropped it behind the tree too, so that was great positioning by Maor. But yeah, this Tesla Tower just continued to attack, which is really, really popular on this map because of that elevation difference. It also works down here on this low ground as well. But Maor gonna continue to abduct, but actually low on health, and does get himself killed by a Flacker. A little bit of damage contributed by Pro's guns, but the majority of it, I think, were those Flackers. I guess the burst in speed with Pro contributing damage in, that probably was the reason that it caught Maor off guard, and will be neutralizing this outpost pretty soon, as Maor has pretty much given up on it. Oh, but the Tesla Tower, Pro needs to grab that, but has a Flacker in cargo? No, he does not. That was the bug. Okay, so he was able to grab the Tesla Tower before it got fully abducted, and he will be able to take this outpost under his control. Okay, no, couple of rebels at the bottom, so Pro will probably lose that fight as well. He needs to kill those rebels. I don't know. Okay, now Maor taking over mid. Mid is completely clear of neutrals. There are no more neutrals on the field except for this T99 over here, and Pro losing another Longhorn to abduct. They might want to reduce, or sorry, increase the cooldown on the abduct of active ability, because it's just so strong, and if you spam it as often as possible, it's very, very effective. Pro creating a defensive line right here. Maor with the majority of his units here on the left side of mid, pretty much where they should be. You know, mid a centralized location, so if Pro should choose to attack at a different spot, Maor will be easily able to keep up because he has all of his units right here in mid, except the stasis going down and actually doing a lot of, well, not necessarily the stasis is doing damage, but allowing Pro's units to do damage, keeping them, you know, from dying as fast as the stasis effect does have fire rate. Not it does have it, but halve the H-A-L-V-E, which is not how you pronounce it, but it halves fire rate. Is that even a word? Whatever. But Pro able to push in and take the outpost back under its control. Maor is actually slightly behind on upkeep, grabbing that Longhorn, but might not be able to survive this. Okay, barely gets back to his post. Wow, that was so close. And taking the outpost back under his control. So, wow, what a swing back and forth between the middle outpost control. Like, it wasn't even like entire pushes left and right. It was just the units going from the left side of mid to the right side of mid and then back to left side of mid. 20-24, great game so far. And Pro dropping for the harass. Not too much AA in this area, so he doesn't have too much to worry about in terms of, you know, his mech itself being in danger, whereas there's tons of flackers back here, so Maor would not really be able to use units or use his mech to really damage or harass Pro's main force at this point, because it's nicely saturated with enough AA to prevent that. Maor now the one forced to pull back, and Pro on the right side of this middle outpost. Maor, wow, this game has completely turned in ProPro's favor. Now 22-24. Pro with great push timing and use of his stasis. People kind of underestimate the effect of stasis, but while you know, while your units are under that effect of stasis, in terms of damage they are capable of dealing, you basically have half the amount of those units. So yeah, basically, if assuming they had equal armies, ProPro was able to virtually double his army against Maor during the time that he pushed in and kept Maor's units under a stasis effect. But the T99, or yeah, the T99 getting abducted. Wow, that was a T99. I thought it was a T45 for a sec. But Maor able to rebuild his forces to match Pro's, actually out upkeeping him. That's a new word. Out upkeeping ProPro right now. 29-28. It was previously 26. I think that T99 abduct really did it. And now Maor harassing bottom. Oh, and actually with the gangsters, gonna be able to surround and take this outpost pretty easily. Pro, oh, with the stasis and the Blade Guardians able to finish off those creeps walking in. Maor not gonna be able to take this outpost yet, and Pro dancing around those Guardians, and with a couple of gangsters and gangsters of his own, able to defend and retake that outpost. Great reactions and great split-second decision-making by ProPro. Not able to save that gangster from abduct, but he's pretty much okay right now, and Maor grabs it because that is pretty expensive. It's basically as expensive as a tank. It's practically the same cost. And now Pro with plenty of flackers up here. Man, Maor cannot even just fly by over there. That's a lot of flackers. Gorgons will be coming out on the field pretty soon. Oh, I keep forgetting their level lock. I think it's 9. No, maybe it's 8. Not really super important, I guess, except for this specific situation, and both players are very, very close to getting to level 8. Maor with a few harassing gangsters, forcing Pro to react and heal up his flackers there. And Pro with gangsters of his own. Gangster spam gets pretty crazy in high tier games after level 6 once they're available, because they are very omni unit at this point in time. Their current balance kind of allows them to do almost anything. They're fast, they can kill units, they have a lot of damage, which allows that, even though their piercing is only 20. They have high HP, and they're slightly cheaper than a Longhorn, so yeah, I'm kind of curious actually to see like Goliaths versus Gangsters, since Goliaths have such high armor. Gangsters won't really be that effective against them, right? Theoretically speaking, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Theoretically speaking, sure, but you know, just thinking of it like that, in practice, it doesn't seem to hold all the time. Those types of theories. Maor putting his T99 on the high ground where his patchers are, and actually clearing the middle area, so the middle lane is actually free to push forward by Pro, and Maor going to be doing something similar to what Pro's doing. Pro doing a gangster drop to neutralize. Maor just with some creeps, and will not really be able to get that far with that. But Maor here, oh, almost able to abduct the third gangster. He does get 2 gangsters out of that mech absence from ProProProPro though. Actually low on health. Oh, able to jump to his outpost. Great timing there. You know, frequently I see people having to jump, like, do several attempts to jump onto their post. But yeah, that was just a single jump. Got straight up. Too many gangsters harassed down there. That's something like 12 gangsters or so, give or take. Maor might choose to push into this post to take it. Might choose to go for the fort, because that is a lot of gangsters, and it's very possible that he'll be able to get the kill. Okay, Pro putting down a couple of heavy mines. That is a great decision after scouting that that gangster clump. It would be way too much to deal with, and Maor almost getting himself killed there. But that blink and arcing flight path was able to save him. So Pro putting defensive mines at the middle lane, just in case Maor decides to push up here, and he actually puts them on the bottom lane, obviously, because that is an obvious push path. And oh man, with the Gorgon out in the field. Okay, he's level 8, so Gorgon level 8 lock. I always like forget off the top of my head for some reason. But yeah, Maor getting killed there with 3 gangsters in his cargo, so that's a huge credit loss. Although he is able to abduct them, so he pretty much abducted that many gangsters during, at least probably more than that many gangsters during this entire game. And now Maor going around here. Oh man, going around and going to mid? Oh no, he's going around. He's going over the top. He's going over to the top. Okay, no, he's pushing into here now. Okay, which he doesn't need to do. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my goodness. He is going over to the top. He is actually going to the top lane with the gangsters from the bottom lane all the way around. And he is now going to be setting them here. I think he is where he probably set them, but he needs to command them once more to be able to get them to take the right path. If he sets them on attack and takes his patchers out, they will be moving pretty fast. He needs to recommand these gangsters so they move a little bit faster, and there they are. And Pro is now moving his force back, but at Gorgon speed. Will he be able to react to this in time? Ferries one Gorgon over, but that will do nothing against these gangsters, as the gangsters will not be attacked by the Gorgon, obviously, because they do not, because Gorgon is direct air. And this is going to be an incredibly close call, I think. Pro with the Blade Guardians, the gangsters focusing Maor. Oh, God, getting killed by the Gorgon, actually. Okay, so the Gorgons and the Flackers are doing definitely what they need to do, and Pro able to finish off all these gangsters. It's getting very, very close, though, so Pro is at about 20% of his health or so. 60 to 16, so Maor's way behind in upkeep, but obviously way ahead in fort health, damage, progress, whatever you want to call that. And now Pro obviously going to be able to take command of this game. As he has the much larger force, but definitely has to watch out for another quick push of gangsters, a quick rush of gangsters past any of his defensive lines, which they clearly can do, even though they have to take a very long path, as we just saw. So this, Maor is probably aware that Pro put heavy mines down. I'm sure he saw him put down 1 or 2, and Pro pushing gangsters of his own, but Maor can actually just abduct those, so that might be yeah, there you go. Might not have been the best decision to push those without support, or at least without babysitting them with his own mech. And now, I guess he was able to kill a little bit over here. It's probably not worth the 2 gangsters, though, especially because it's not only 2 gangsters lost, but it's 2 gangsters gained on Maor247's side. And probably doesn't want to go with the abduct here because the gangsters are going to get killed by his defending gangsters. Crazy. Gangster is too much at this point. It's too universal. But I think Pro will get the better of this battle, especially again with the stasis effect. And Maor, it's dangerous to do this abduct because the gangsters and the flackers over here are doing so much damage to his mech. So Maor kind of needs to do a last-ditch effort, push or rush here. Let's take a quick look at the fort. The bottom side is undefended, although that Gorgon over there is going to be a lot of trouble for Maor, as the saucer is still very squishy and is not going to be able to survive for that long, even against, let me see, 5 gangsters and 1 Gorgon. So no, Maor taking that gangster that was sent by Pro. Okay, Maor just has the 1 gangster sitting up there. 2, 3 over here, 4 over here by his outpost, and over here's another free one if he chooses to do so. Okay, now 3 over here drop. So this is actually possible for Maor to accomplish. Okay, but still gonna go for the outpost, which is probably the better decision because he still does have a chance at holding it. And of course, with the abduct, Pro forced to quickly, as quick as possible, you know, react to that and grab his units before they get stolen by that saucer. Now 4 gangsters of his own, gonna be neutralizing this post pretty quick. More, okay, 4 creeps coming up, 2 of them splitting off. Hard to describe exactly how creeps choose their posts. It was a very long forum thread a long time ago, is why I understand it, but it's weird. It's really weird. How they don't really reevaluate their targets very much. Okay, a couple of drops here by Maor. He probably will get killed in this retreat or in this attack. But this is a lot of damage by creeps and gangsters over here. For Pro trying to block as best he possibly can, and in the meantime, Maor dropping a defensive gangster over there, so he will be able to keep that post under his control. So now Pro down to about 10 to 15% of his health. That's very, very close to death, and I doubt he has a lunchbox in his loadout in 1v1. Well, honestly, in today's meta, he might. But considering the fact that he hasn't put one out, then yeah, he probably does not. So, keeping control of this bottom post for now. There are a ton of heavy mines over here. I don't know if Maor is gonna... does not blink away fast enough, does not leave fast enough. A little bit overextending with that abduct. So, will allow Pro to neutralize and maybe even kill a couple of these gangsters over here on the left. No, he is gonna just choose to... I think this is a wise choice of his time. Scouting, seeing what he can harass, and neutralizing this post is actually pretty big because Maor is already pretty behind in income. But now Maor getting 2 free gangsters. So many free units via that abduct. And yeah, the cooldown. I'm gonna see if he's on. He's probably on cooldown. Honestly, you just gotta spam that as much as possible, just so you can get as many free units as possible. And a Longhorn going under Maor's control, so he's able to swing the game in his favor, or at least start to swing it in his favor. Just using abduct and, you know, intelligently choosing to do so when Pro is not really in position to defend against it. So what can Maor do at this point? He's pretty much doing what he's... Oh boy. That's a lot of heavy mines there, so... Boom, and that is a lot of dead gangsters. Okay, 2 get through, but they will easily be killed by these creeps even passing by. So now Maor is way behind. He's really, really close to being completely dominated, actually, since he's 11 to 57, and he's so behind in unit upkeep. And if Pro continues to do nothing but... okay, a couple more got through. I didn't even realize that, and no creep spawn. No creep spawn. He is off of his cooldown. So I'm a little surprised to see him not do the creep spawn for a little bit more damage, but he's still pretty far from getting the kill, considering the current state of the game. And now he is pretty much about to get dominated. 1 more outpost left, and it's so close. 2 to 59, and that's pretty much it. Pro just needs to send all of his gangsters out on the field to the fort, and there is not really anything that Maor can do about it. He can try to abduct, but it's not going to be enough. Maor already conceding, not moving, not trying to do any more drops, and wow, great game. The beginning was so back and forth, and towards the end there, especially after Maor did that initial gangster push, I guess, you know what, I think microing the gangsters. Oh, hey, I can move the camera. Cool. So all of his gangsters were sitting right about. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna fly there with the mech because you for some reason take control of the mech after replay is over. So all of Maor's gangsters were sitting here, and then he like kind of went to the back, did a creep spawn, and set those on attack and stuff too to do more damage. I think if he was able to, and he kind of wasn't because there was a lot of AA here and he died really quick. But if he did not die, if Pro did not make such a Flacker and Gorgon heavy unit comp that he moved back to the fort to defend with, then Maor might have been able to micro around this clump of gangsters that he sent over here. Set him on this corner, set him on this corner, and even maybe one or two on this corner, even though there's rocks or something like that. And that would have done a lot more damage for a longer period of time because Pro would not have been able to defend the same way, just to drop as much stuff, drop the stasis blast on all the gangsters at once and stuff like that. So that actually might have gotten Maor the game should he not have died to all that AA in the area. That probably is the turning point for me in this game, besides that back and forth mid fight that eventually after like 6 minutes of constant action back and forth went to Pro. So great game. I really am appreciative to Happy Death for spectating and sending this game into me. Wow. Alright guys, one more time, carry me. Well, probably not one more time. As many times as it takes. Carry Me 2v2 tournament will be on Saturday, April 21st at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It will be a high-tier players match with low-tier players and mid-tier players matched with each other as balanced as it can possibly get. Right? Right? Anyways, there's always a lot of no-shows, guys, so if you are still interested in participating, even though we are past our 32 sign-ups theoretical limit, just sign up anyway, show up, and there's a very good chance that you will still be able to participate. And once again, keep sending in those replays. This is Areyouwhy, and that is game. See you next time.